Welcome to Movers and Shakers, the podcast where we dive into the stories, strategies, and celebrations of the people reshaping our world. In this episode, we're joined by a fascinating guest, Michael Linsky, Managing Director at Sensio Group. Michael has built a business, embraced change, and continues to evolve even after decades in the game. If you want lighting that works brilliantly, looks smart, and makes your space feel truly special, Sensio's UK-designed LED solutions are worth checking out. They believe lighting should be simple, efficient, and beautiful, and that's something we can all get behind. Sensio Lighting is one of the sponsors of our KBB Futures events, including the upcoming event on the 4th of December in London. Thank you, Sensio, for your commitment to shaping the future of our industry together. A big shout out to this podcast episode sponsor, the Installer Show 2026. They'll be joining our KBB Futures event as a host, and it's shaping up to be an incredible gathering. So grab your coffee, pull up a seat, and let's get into it. Here's the full conversation.
Michael, so I know this. How did you get into KBB?
I got into this industry because I couldn't get a job anywhere else.
Nobody else would have you?
Nobody would have me.
Oh, there you are, you see, yeah.
I had one job on a building site for a week, and by the Friday I never went back. So that was the only experience.
Was that because it was too manual?
Yeah, it was horrific. you had to be hard and nuts and wake up early and do things, and I'm more of a thinker, so it didn't fit me. But it wasn't by design. It was fate played a bit of a game, and in our garage at the time, being 16 out of school with no GCSEs, because I
This is Ray's garage that started the business.
Yes, this was my mum and dad's house. My dad said, well, if we don't start it, you're fucked. Off take, beep, we're screwed if we don't do something. So £1,000 in a van, and we used to fill it up in the morning with some lights and cables and plugs, and all day we'd drive around trying to sell to anybody. So it wasn't really just KBB at the time, it was an interior designer, electrical wholesaler, it was anybody.
Can you remember your first customer?
I can't remember the first customer, but I can remember how much we turned over in our first year. My mum was really, really pissed off because me and my dad spent a year in a van and we turned over 24,000 in the first year. So my mum was not happy. My dad thought, well, we'll do better next year. And
positive again. From
a
negative to positive.
There you go. We had to make it work. So that's how we actually started, but we never meant to be in the KBB. That was not.
So you fell into KBB.
We literally fell into it because we
not
needed
many
to
people
sell
come
something.
out again, do they? They normally stay
24
on that
years
track.
Stuck in KBB, but I appreciate it.
But you like the industry.
I love the industry.
Yeah. So let's talk about today. So, how's business?
Business is good. Business is difficult. I believe that this is difficult times. You have to really, really, really work hard now, and you have to add more value, and you've got to do more. And what we did a few years ago is not good enough now. So I think we are having to work very hard for the success that we're getting at the moment.
So what would you say to a retailer who said, look, Michael, I've got this showroom going for 25 years and no one's coming in the showroom. What would you say to them?
Well, you just got to do something you've never done before, to have something you've never had, or you're going to have the same stuff. So,
what sort of practical things could a retailer perhaps consider now?
I think that retailers got some challenges because digitalisation, how the internet changes, access of information. Traditional markets can't stay traditional forever. There's got to be changes in markets, and technology generally drives a lot of change. So the radius of some flyers in a 20-mile radius or whatever it might be to get them into that store, we're going to have to be more creative, we're going to have to reach out more, and we're going to have to find ways of getting more people through that door.
So what sort of things do you think, if I've been running a kitchen and bathroom showroom for 25 years and I've done the newspaper ad, I've got a website which I haven't really changed for 5 or 6 years maybe, what do you think I should be thinking about now to make a tangible difference, to get more people in?
I think everything's social and digital.
Social,
it's really big and it's complicated, and if you're running a retailer for that long, the high degree of chances, the background is not in marketing and social media, so it's something you have to learn. And I think the best way of doing that is you talk to people that have done it. Talk to people that are better than you at something you're not good at, or you read the hell out of everything you can find on something. So if I don't know something that's particularly in my mind or is challenging me, I'll get every book I can find on it, and I'll read and read and read until I know it
Yeah,
inside
so
out.
you're finding up knowledge yourself. Yeah,
You have
you're
to.
putting your feet forward and moving ahead rather than walking backwards.
You can also whinge and do nothing,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
you'll get the same outcomes as you did before you started whinging.
yeah, absolutely. Looking at your business now, what's on the horizon for Sensio?
So we have to keep innovating, for sure. That's the core differentiator that we can do, is we have to design and we have to find ways of engineering more solutions to make lighting simple. Lighting is complex, or it can be perceived to be complex, and what we're trying to do as a brand is take away the complexity of what lighting means. And actually, lighting is dead simple, really, really, really simple, and it can make the kitchen or bedroom or bathroom look amazing by not a lot of money. But people fear this complexity.
You know, like lighting is simple. Do you think there's a potential objection with some people that, oh, there's electric involved, I don't want to learn about that?
Yeah,
Did you get that objection?
Oh, totally, yeah. They absolutely are terrified and shit themselves that it's electrics and they're going to blow up.
So how do you take the objection away from people?
Well, first of all, I think that you've got to do some type of knowledge transfer. You have to do that. So we train and we educate, and that knowledge is for free. So we have to transfer the knowledge. When you can do that, then they can start designing and specifying with lighting, and there's less of a fear, but it does start with a degree of transfer of knowledge, which is important.
So innovation's good, but making sure that if you're going to innovate something that's very different, that your team behind you are talking about and explaining to people how to ask the questions, get the customer needs, but then give them that solution.
There's nothing worse in the world than having something amazing that nobody knows about.
Gotcha. So that's a great bit. Let's talk about that. So go back in my history working for John Lewis. I remember this guy came. It's a company called Miller from Sweden. It was a bathroom, towel rails and toilet seats, would you believe, company. Very expensive in their time. But this rep came into John Lewis and he absolutely proper trained me on how to sell a high value item. We were doing more sales at John Lewis Welling Garden City than John Lewis Oxford Street very, very quickly because the guy trained me properly. So tell me about what you do that's different against your competitors to help and support your customers.
If you take that you've articulated, you wouldn't have talked about it. First of all, if you didn't know about it. So because you knew about it, but also you have the confidence to talk about it. So therefore, you talk about it. And the more you talk about it to more people, the more sales you'd create of the category. So it's the same for every category. And you think the dilemma in the kitchen space particularly is there's a billion different decisions for the consumer to go through. I've just done my first kitchen ever after 24 years of selling lighting, and it blew my head from someone in the industry.
You just fitted your own kitchen?
Yeah, I didn't fit it because I'm terrible at pretty much everything.
I thought you started in the construction on the building trade. You'd have been
back to my first job.
You'd have got your chisel out and made your first kitchen. That's
God no. I've learned from that 1 week of experience, but it was confusing, it was complex, many decisions, colours, or loads of different things. And there's some things that I really enjoyed and that I was interested in, but I also ran out of sort of bandwidth of making more decisions. So I think that categories fight for consumer attention. Where should you talk, be spoke about first within your category? But if the designers and specifiers and salespeople can't talk about your category, it's totally at the bottom of the list. So that's where the education piece is about moving the category talking up that priority list. But also we've got to engineer products that are easy, because it can't be that we talk all the designers and they talk to consumers, but then the installers can't fit it.
Yeah.
It's got to be linked all with each
other. You know, that's a great point you make. I remember meeting a designer working at Leaks actually in South Wales, and this designer said to me, Simon, I start with a handle. I said, you start with a handle? I start with a handle and design the kitchen from the handle, from that look the handle gives for the whole design concept for the kitchen. How about a customer starting with the lighting solution first and then building the kitchen?
I'd love that.
It's a concept, isn't it?
It would be brilliant if we could make it reality. But I suppose our challenge is that it's not particularly about seeing the lighting. The goal nowadays in what we do is it's about making that space look better, but you don't see the lights. So we're not trying to sell lights.
Rather than thinking about it as an afterthought, think about it right at the very beginning.
But actually for us, our goal or mission would be to make that piece of furniture look amazing but the lighting, it's not just about selling the lights, it's about encompassing everything.
Yeah, 100%. And that's the innovation you spoke about earlier, but to be confirmed. So the industry talks about innovation, but it also talks about being eco-friendly. So how important is it for a consumer to buy lighting that saves them money?
I think it's important. I think energy bills are expensive. We know that. We've all gone through this period of time where it costs a fortune. Lighting now is to a point of where it's so energy efficient. You're talking pence.
A standard, that's the standard thing. Yeah.
Where we are. I think more of the environmental impact now, we're moving into different remits.
I mean, how it's got from wherever it's come from to get to you.
Yeah, I think it was more originally in the early days, how much does it cost to run? And when I started in garage, we used to have these horrible plastic fittings, which were 20-watt capsule lamps, which after 5 minutes of being left on were boiling and
really
burning
hot.
skin
Yeah,
off.
that's right.
But that's where we started,
I
and it
remember
used
that,
to, if you left the cabinet door,
we used to call them swan neck lights. We used to call them.
they were
very hot.
nasty,
If you had a
nasty
vinyl
things.
door, it would put a
it would
brown
set on
mark
fire.
on the vinyl door.
Yeah,
That's
so
it,
that shit
I
set
remember
kitchens
that.
on fire when we started.
Yeah.
And now it's it's all cold running. It's all efficient. So we don't. I suppose we don't. It's not the talking point now that it used to be to where the technology has led to. I think from that environmental side, it's changed. But
what about the materials the lighting is made from? So plastics is a big conversation. So you get all these things now where you get like plant-based substances or compounds that could potentially make a lighting of the future.
I'm really into all this sort of stuff because this is in the innovation curve. So I like thinking about what we can make things out of. And we're printing today here in plastics for prototyping.
This is 3D printing.
We can go to 4D printing which is metal and plastic combined.
But the composite of that material could be different.
Well, that's the key of it. So we've thought about, can you do something out of seaweed? So there's been some crazy ideas and suggestions. Is it practical? No, because people will not pay 5 times more for the unit when we start making out of this. But I do think things are changing. So
a different generation coming through, they might potentially do that.
Totally agree.
So it depends, Talking about innovation, and if I was a retailer, I'd like to be thinking in my local town, I'm doing these 5 things that are different, and tell my team to shout about it. But what can Sensio offer a retailer that can perhaps give one of those facets?
I think it's important from our side as our category of lighting, just to make sure that the piece of furniture, kitchen, bedroom, and bathroom, is displayed the best it possibly can be in store.
Okay.
I think that's critically important because lighting is not an expensive category, but what it does to how it makes the finished piece of furniture look has a huge impact, which looks much greater in value than it actually cost of a value is. So I think at least lighting it the best we can. But there's a dilemma where there's only so much knowledge about what's new, where can I put it, how can I install it. So that knowledge transfer has to be passed on. But light it is where we would come from, a category. But the future development is how it's all controlled, how it integrates into home automation.
Which is apps on phones and so forth.
It can be app, it can be through Googles and Alexas. But eventually where we'll go, which we'll show at KBB next year, will be to make sure that what's the impact of lighting and health. So this is a real big thing for me.
This is this SAD syndrome, whatever it might be.
Exactly, sad disorder. That's interesting to us because
it is interesting.
If you look at what a light is, it's just a glorified candle. It emits illumination in the simplest form. But how can we emit light and impact health? So going down that path, we had a 1-year placement for PhD bioengineering in-house here from Leeds University. And we looked at the impact of lighting on health, and we did a study on it. And the study is amazing.
So you can measure it.
Because you can measure it, and you can see what happens.
Wow.
So this is the direction of future innovation.
That's got to be your secret.
It's
You're surrounded by lights.
lights. How can you do more with what you got?
Exactly.
And there's nothing more important than health.
But going back to that really important question, so if I'm a retailer, what does Sensio do that can help give me a USP? And I think we might have mentioned it earlier about the fact that you put a lot of investment into training. So can we just talk about this training aspect, how you can make a retailer essentially make more profit?
Yeah, so the key goal here is if there's less kitchens sold in the market, which it is today, the key then is being to attach more categories of products to increase the basket value, because there's less actual kitchens, bedrooms, and bathrooms being sold. So how do you maximise?
Increase the order value.
Yeah, how do you maximise the sale, particularly, or the value return from a customer? How do you maximise it? So for our category, well-lit products adds more value. It gives more profit, it makes the product look better. It's not particularly difficult in knowledge transfer, but it's a way of differentiating and giving the overall package.
So typically with lighting, appreciate that the order value could be a little bit lower than, say, a full kitchen, for example. But margins, how many retailers do you think, Michael, understand the word margin?
I think.
Well, let's rephrase the question. How to calculate margin?
Well, first of all, I think the degree of people understanding it. I hope that running successful businesses, it's pretty important. Cash flow is number one. That was always the thing I was taught, is cash is everything. Watch cash. But margin is important because there's a proximity of price where certain customers will pay certain bandwidth. But actually a margin can be manipulated because that's not at the top level of the bandwidth, which then comes back into cash flow. Probability of how many I have absolutely no idea. I hope it's a good number of people running because look, running any business of your own, you can't just be good at what you do. You've got to be good at finance, operations, customers. You've got to be pretty good at everything. So I would hope that people have a good understanding of that.
Does somebody need to sell Sensio Lighting at the recommended retail price, or they can add it in and
I think
change the retail pricing if they need to?
I'm not
or as a package, perhaps sell it as a package with one kitchen.
I'm not particularly convinced that lighting would lead the sale of a kitchen, as great it would be. So I think it's more so all the accessories and value put into that sale, and all that as a bundle, as a price and a value and a margin return, rather than particular categories within that.
I don't think the average consumer has any concept of, you know, how much this widget of light costs this widget here. I mean, they might go to B&Q and see on the shelf, but I think we're talking a bit more specialist in terms of the independent sector and the choices that you can offer.
Yeah, it's a real specialist category technology. It's actually, in ways of the speed of the dynamics of innovation, it moves really quick. So that's why the training part is really important to
Absolutely,
us. We don't sell the same stuff as really we did 5 years ago. It might be the same strip, but the technology within the strip changes, which means then you can do more in the design, and you can put it into more places, you can route it into different things. So I think technology moves quick in our category, so it's ever changing.
So if somebody asks you for a swan neck halogen light, what would you say replacement? What would you say from 20 years ago?
If you really want it, I'll find you one, but how much you're willing to pay is probably what I'd ask.
You have to put a price tag on it, mate. There you go.
Sure.
As a company, we are absolutely driven, is the right word, and passionate about L&D, learning development, and training apprentices in particular in this industry. And this is about getting an apprentice on a government standard rather than just having a young person that works in the warehouse that, you know, is learning from the boss potentially. I'm really keen to understand. I know you're passionate about your people here, and you've got a great team here that works with you here, Michael. So I'm really keen to understand, what do you do as a company to invest in your people and their own personal development?
Right, two sides of people. What opportunities can create for people to potentially join us? So we've worked very closely with Leeds University and Huddersfield University, where we brought in second-year students to do one-year placements with us. And that gives value to them because we see what the world of business is like, and it's never what they think. They think they're just going to be designing something, but all of a sudden they've got to talk to suppliers, customers,
and each other, a margin.
So it totally changes, and they always reflect on the time with us as, holy shit, this is not quite what we were doing in this course, but this is the reality. It gives us the ability to see, actually, should we make them an offer at the end of the third year placement? So that's important. What access of people can you have around you? But in terms of the people here, I want them to start with trust, because we have to trust each other to build a foundation. They've got to be deeply passionate, and you know, asking people to be deeply passionate about light fitting can sometimes be challenging. So change the concept. Be deeply passionate of succeeding and doing something that no one's ever done before. It becomes very more motivating. So when we have people here and when we're talking to customers and our team, it's about how do you solve a problem and how can you solve the biggest problem you can think about.
Do you ever ask your team on a daily basis, what have you achieved today?
No.
You ask that question?
I don't give a shit. What I care about is that they know what they need to achieve today. And half the time I don't know what all the small milestones are, but what I know is what is the big picture. And as long as our teams move to solving the problems of the big picture, I don't even need to know the little steps.
So you're not micromanaging, so you're asking people to make decisions.
You've got to make decisions. Or there's no point in employing anyone. So find 50% of your team and I'll have a wage and I'll be miserable and unhappy. But it's, you know, what's important to us is that people have the ability to make decisions, they feel appreciated, heard, and that they have a voice. They will move a business if they're empowered to move it. And if I've got 60 odd minds trying to move this forward for the customer, my one mind, that is more powerful than me.
So what advice could you give how to bring a team with you? What's the best way of doing that?
I think you've got to have a mission and a set of values that guide you. So how big can the mission be? Make it exciting, because if it's not exciting, they'll go find excitement somewhere else. So it's got to be really scary. And when we say our mission, we laugh because it's fucking ridiculous. You know, we want to light more homes than anyone else in the world. When you say that and you think, shit, we're going to get there, even if I got 50% of the way there, I do better than most people I ever meet. So it's got to be huge, and then we've got our values which sort of guide us, and you know, it's about being passionate, thinking about the customer, doing it together. So there's certain things that we just talk about and we repeat ourselves over and over.
So do you personally, because clearly you're a very driven, motivated individual, do you personally train or have training sessions where you are conveying your knowledge with your staff?
It's more that they give, it's more the other way around, they give their knowledge to me, which is much better. I've only got to look after the culture. The culture is my responsibility, so you lead from top down in how you want to do it, and my other responsibility is thinking about the future. I've only got to do two things. So I'm not in the day-to-day a lot anymore because there's people doing the particular roles much better than I can do, which gives me thinking space of being able to look to see what's next 5,
you
10
can
years.
360 and stand back and
totally different.
You can take a view, much better. Can you give an example of a learning journey that you've admired in your career so far, where it might be an individual you thought, that's really smart?
I think my personal view is something we were talking about earlier. In my early days of being in this industry, I think about 18, my dad said, right, there's your yellow pages, ring everyone in yellow pages and the kitchens, bedrooms and bathrooms.
What's this yellow pages you speak of?
So I'd
I've never heard of it.
And I'd just ring and ring and ring, and
you literally hit the phone book?
Yeah, they'd give me the yellow pages, and that's what I did. And I remember thinking, this is horrific.
Brilliant.
And the amount of times I got told to go away was unbelievable. 99 out of 100 someone would tell me to go away.
Like 1% would talk to you.
Yeah, and I was really pleased when they did talk to me. But of them 99 calls and being told to go away, it gave me an absolute burning desire to one day to have a deal with them. So that's what gave us a really good foundation of not giving up, not failing, not being miserable, not being defeated. I'll ring them every single week until they deal with us.
So that's from the basics of starting from the yellow pages, which is the old-fashioned way of doing it. So if you were looking at that now and it was like 20 years later, whatever it was, what would you say is the best way to prospect a customer now?
By post.
Interesting. So that's the next stage.
You write a letter.
Carry a pigeon.
Yeah, you write a letter.
You're going back to old-fashioned standards now, aren't you?
No, but it gets to them in a way that other people can't. So you think of traditional routes to getting to some yourself. I can contact you on LinkedIn, but you'll get loads of them, so there's no differentiation. I don't know your email address. I could try to chance it and work it out and send you it. You get loads of them. But if I wrote a letter and I spent the time doing it and I put it in an envelope and I took it to the post office, it will get to you.
Do you know, this morning, Michael, I had this post arrive, and actually goes back to exactly what you said. It was an old-fashioned mail shop, and I opened this thing out into 5 little segments, and I thought, wow, I really like that. And I've actually spent time looking at it, but take your point, you're getting 20, 30 emails a day, probably written by AI, that you just press delete.
If you really want to get someone, just write HMRC at the top of it, and you will open it, I tell you.
Good grief. So on the apprenticeship conversation, so whose responsibility do you think is in the industry to communicate how easy it is to actually hire an apprentice? Because a lot of people say, I've got no idea, so I haven't got time. Whose responsibility is it to make that easier?
Apprenticeship's really tough. From the point of view of that, we have looked into it here, and I headed that up myself.
On that project, that's interesting.
And there's a million people to contact.
Yes.
And there's a million different companies.
Yes.
And they all say they can do something better than last. And I got a little bit confused about where should I go, what course should I go for, how do I get to the course, how many years, does it fit right, who pays what does the government pay, what do I pay? It was just complex.
It's a minefield, yeah.
Yeah, just from my perspective of trying to search that for our business, it wasn't as straightforward as...
But whose responsibility should it be in this industry for providing this information, do you think?
I don't know. I'm not... Just from my search and going through my experience, I found it confusing. If someone can take that position in our industry to do more and lead more, I think we'd all benefit because it'd cut through all the noise. And the faster you cut through the noise, the more you can make a decision, the more you can create action. But it wasn't particularly clear. So if we can find a way of doing that for our industry and saying, right, this is a model that works for ours, implement.
And out of interest on that review that you did you end up hiring, or did you find it too difficult to do your own thing?
I'm stuck in a million different proposals from 4 different companies, all telling me what I should do and what I shouldn't do, with contradicting information of what's right.
I think one of my suggestions that I'd love to get your opinion on is actually having boots on the ground, someone to actually come and see you and talk you through it, rather than send you a link to go and do your own research. Someone to actually look you in the eyes and say, this is what you need to do, Michael, for these reasons.
So the knowledge transfer we do with our complexity problem can be solved in the exact same way. It's just a different topic.
Different way of doing it, yeah. I love the fact we're in the lighting business and the lights go on and off.
We wanted to keep it interesting, so we didn't want you to have another experience like this than anyone with a lighting.
It's very cinematic, I think, today. It's very cinematic. On the back of that, Michael, is that something that you would consider doing here, taking somebody on a government standard? Because actually it's great marketing for your customers also, because I think that's the right thing to be doing. And people such as you, given how enthusiastic you are about training, you could absolutely lead by showing that example.
Yeah, I'm not asked about the marketing aspect of the business. I don't care about that. We'll do that in other ways. What I care about is giving people opportunity.
Yeah.
I only got opportunity because my dad gave me an opportunity.
Yeah.
If I didn't have my dad, who would have given me an opportunity?
Nice, yeah.
And it might have been that I just go make my own opportunity.
Yeah.
Well, could I do that? Yeah, potentially. Would it look different? Maybe so. So I think you've got to have some sort of way of being able to get into a sector or finding a way, because doing it on your own is difficult.
Yeah.
But if you can absorb information of someone that's done it for a long time, you can move faster.
Yeah. I know you're coming to our roundtable event, KBB Futures, on the 4th of December. So big topic of conversation. It will be filmed on a day. We're going to get a great cross-section from across the industry, so we'll continue that conversation.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
I'd just like to talk about something that we see quite often in the trade press about area sales managers, the role of an area sales manager. So what's your perception of how professional we've become? So for example, when we had to go and do Zoom or Teams calls during that very difficult time, which shan't be mentioned, do you think that stayed with some people, or people still going out and doing face-to-face meetings?
There's nothing better than being in front of someone, because you can connect in a totally different way. You can see how someone's sat, you can see the tempo of what they say, you could create a connection. You don't do that online, in my opinion, as well.
Totally
that
agree
would be 5 or 6 Teams meetings for me to get the same understanding of you as a person. So I don't believe in that. Human capital comes face-to-face value. You build connections when you're together and when you're next to people. So answering the question, all the digital stuff, scrap all that. Move back to what matters, which is face-to-face. It takes more time, it costs more, it's more difficult from a point of view of implementation. I could smash through so many more Teams and Zoom calls here with our people, but that's not what's valuable. So I think get face-to-face, build them connections up, and I think that adds so much more value. Nobody wants to be sold to. I hate salespeople. And I'm a salesperson, which is crazy.
You see, I'm the opposite. I'm a salesperson, but I love to be sold to.
I hate to be sold to. It pisses me off. I hate if someone comes to give me a quote, I want to get straight to the point. Is it valuable? What it is? I don't want to pitch, because of time. So pain in the ass person, but effectively I don't want to be sold to, but I am interested in understanding something I can't solve or don't know. So from our perspective,
so you like information and solutions,
value. From our perspective, it's not really about having a big sales team. It's about getting education to people and helping them, and if we help them, in return we'll get sales. So it's a reverse sale by giving the information.
Did you get any feedback from retailers about the quality of area sales managers today? Are they coming into an appointment with like a proper agenda? Are they adding value, or are they dropping brochures? What do you think?
I think people going to have teas and coffees and dropping stuff still exists, and I don't think that'll ever go. I think there'll be a big degree from what comes into a retailer's door to what adds value, and I'd probably say in an 80-20 rule, 80% is a bloody waste of time, 20% adds value.
Yeah. Do you know what it's like? If I was having a sales team creation today, I would call the sales manager a business advisor. I think if you're going into any independent retailer, you've got a lot of knowledge from visiting thousands of showrooms, and you're picking up information. It shouldn't be about just dropping a brochure, or should it? And then a lot of the independent retailers, potentially, they won't have seen that many people on their day-to-day routine because they do what they do, and they're quite keen to hear new information, aren't they?
Yeah, totally. And what I don't want is people to be trying to sell stuff to people. That's not valuable. You should listen, and then you should talk. You shouldn't talk and then listen. So could have a massive debate on this.
Do you think manufacturers could do more about, like your Sensor, and we spoke earlier about, you having this brilliant system of actually training your customers, which is great, and you put a lot of investment. You've got 6 people on the road doing training, which is fantastic. What about training people other things other than just your products, but more generic running a business, or sales training, go back to that conversation, that sort of thing? Or do you think, well, why would I invest in that when other people could benefit?
Well, I suppose there's other people doing that have created careers out of it, that create income to pay for their time. There's a lot of noise, and I want our business to be a specialist business. I want us to do one thing and be the best in the world at doing it, rather than try to do multi things and being okay. So I don't want us to be okay.
You want to be focused.
We're a very, 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 very specialist brand that specialises on value return.
Can we talk displays? What is the best way when a retailer says to you, Michael, I've had one of your guys, one of your girls come to see me, it's very good, but how much are you going to pay me to put your products in my showroom? What would you say to that?
Everything's got to work in partnership.
Yep.
So I get that point, and I get that, and I understand it, and I appreciate that way of thinking. But all I'm trying to do is make their displays look better, and for them to sell more kitchens. So not to particularly just sell more lights. So I think it's got to be a partnership. It's got to work both ways. By all means, we will invest time and energy and the knowledge to make their displays look the best it possibly can. But nothing that's valuable is free.
Absolutely. So I guess it's a question of going back and explaining the value you're going to create that retail and the profit you're going to make.
Because sometimes when something's free, it can be taken for granted. There's no value to that. But actually, what we're trying to do is just make the furniture look great. That's the only outcome for it. And if you invest in the right things, you get more return long time.
Yeah, so our displays better in situ, or they're better on like a lighting board? Which is the best way to show? All the time in situ every day?
I believe so, because you see the effect. It's not the lighting. No one gives a shit about that. People give the effect of what it's going to look like in their home.
As long as it's properly explained, which goes back to the training, Trade press, again, often talks about this very contentious conversation in some cases. Should a retailer charge for what they do in terms of planning and quoting? What should they do?
I think they should do what's best for their business. They've got more experience, they understand the customer, what that audience looks like, what the audience values, but also can they add more value than the person next door. So it depends how badly they believe in what we do. It depends if they think that's valuable. Could it work? Yes. Could it fail? Yes. I think understanding the customer, different targets, different values, different budgets have different returns and different values of aspect. An interior designer will pay so much to do per room. So you're still paying the design, but you're going to buy all the stuff for them too. So I don't think it's not that it doesn't work, and it works in other segmentation. But I think that's up to the person. If you can add more and you feel comfortable, charge the price you can if you can do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you can't do it,
yeah. The other thing that is often debated is, if you're an independent studio, should you be hiring a great salesperson or a great designer? Which comes first?
just do both at the same time. It's bollocks to the question of either or.
Yeah.
Just find someone that's great at both. And then sack it off and start with a different view of it.
Yeah. What about hiring an attitude? Good attitude.
Attitude comes first.
Yeah.
I can teach people to do what I do. I can't teach people to think the way I do. So if they're not deeply passionate from day one, I can't teach passion. It's just what it is. I can't teach attitude, that's what it is. So I prefer to take somebody that knows nothing about anything but has deep passion and deep ambition, and then we'll find a way of moving that transfer.
So which part of the lighting offer that do you have that, like if I was a designer, that I'd get really passionate about in terms of design, and which part of your product range would I think, do you know what, that is really super sexy to sell that? What could you give me as two examples in what you do here?
Well, I suppose it's not particularly about a light as saying this strip is this and this is the Kelvin, this is the lumen. No one gives a shit. The technical aspect of it, you can bore people to death. What's more important for me is to be able to see this product can be used here and this is the effect you get. And there's many different outcomes of that. So again, when we go back to that knowledge transfer, it's not about one particular thing, but it's what can we do if we use everything. And then certain designers then just find one or two things they love, and all the design is one or two things. That's all we do.
But going back to the conversation on training, if somebody's instilled in their mind, this is good for this reason, they're going to remember it, aren't they?
Like, well, you use Swan light at your
yeah.
That's in your mind. I used
to draw them in with pencil every time on the designs. I love the Swan light.
I'm going to sell you one and find you one.
I'd be interested in some Swan lights.
1994.
But
that's the point. That's your perception of what the category meant. Well, some people that we go to train just want triangle lights because they did that in 2001. So that's just the way it is. So we've got to be able to. Our value is to show them what's possible. And then if we transfer that knowledge right, that's then learned and then that is implemented, and then everybody
I'll have
wins.
a little rummage in your guaranteed part of the warehouse later. I'll have a little look and see what you got there. I'm a great believer in learning from each other. So have you got, through your career in KBB, an amusing story, we always ask this question, that people could learn from?
I think I've got a lot of stories about persistency. I've got a lot of stories about failure. One of my biggest issues is that I'm dyslexic, so my reading and writing is absolutely terrible. So many times people have got emails misspelled that don't make any sense because that just comes straight out of my mind. I think one of the biggest issues I have, which is sometimes funny, sometimes it puts me in a horrible position, is I'm terrible with names. So I can stand on, say, like a KBB or an Interzone. I'll know this person for 10 years. And he'll be called Chris and I'll be calling him Dave all day. And I do that all the time and it drops me absolutely in the shit. But that's just my personality trait, I can. But I think, I would say that people have been a big part of my success, and just trying to treat people how you want to be treated and remembering the people that have helped you. That has helped me a lot.
We spoke about earlier, I think it's a great industry for people helping each other out where they can. It makes a big difference. So on the back of maybe not remembering everybody's name at a conference or an exhibition, is there some advice you can give on how to remember someone's name?
Write it down, or just really bloody try. I think I'm terrible at a lot of things, so the name thing is that, the spelling is that. Just be prepared in some circumstances. So our sector looks big, but it's not. It's quite small. So there's some people that if you connect her and you do the right thing with, you get exponential return versus trying to service
you're saying
everything.
keep in touch with the good people. That's absolutely right. People, somebody said to me a few weeks ago, always stand next to somebody that wants to help you on your journey. Don't stand next to people who don't. That's a
and
really
you can choose.
Absolutely, we all have choices. So on the back of choices, so when you take me out for a lovely restaurant meal, which I know we're going to do that at some stage, are we going to go for a good pub grub? Are we going to go for Indian? Or we're going to go Chinese? Or we're going to go Italian? What's your favourite tipple?
Well, dead simple. The first thing is, what's your favourite?
That's a great salesperson. So he's a great salesperson. All of the above is the answer to the question. So
you can choose, it'll be my pleasure.
There you go, annual treat. Thank you very much. So Michael Linsky, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, appreciate it.
Okay, good. We hope you enjoyed watching today's special edition of Movers and Shakers, and if you've liked what you've seen, please leave us a comment. You can also press the like button, and if you hit the bell icon and subscribe, you'll get future notifications of a future Movers and Shakers, which also is on Apple and Spotify platforms. So thank you for watching.